Hello friends, welcome to our channel Preparation Pulse IAS. We are again back with today's news current affairs and how this can help actually you to build your answers in GS of UPSC and other particular examinations. As you know, there are lot many stories that are appearing in the newspapers, so we always do pick them and always try to relate to your answers. First of all, relate to your syllabus, and then after we try to relate it to your content, so you can build your content. As we know that election commissioners selection process is under a judicial review for a longer period of time. There was a case that came into Supreme Court, and Supreme Court actually adjudicated into this. As we know that on the same channel around 2 or 3 days back we talked about the election commission selection process and how the judiciary in Anup Brunwal case gave the judgment. Again, because of the retirement of Arun Goyal as election commissioner, we are back to the process where there are certain petitioners who have challenged this particular decision of the central government to choose election commissioners. इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स को जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने चूज़ किया है और जो कि जिसमें अभी जो एक लॉ पास किया गया था जिसमें कोलोजियम बनाया गया था जिसमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन और कोई भी यूनियन मिनिस्टर जो कि मतलब प्राइम मिनिस्टर के द्वारा अपॉइंटेड है, उसमें जो है एक डिसीजन होता है. So the decision that these collegium actually have sit first time and they have sat together and they have selected 2 election commissioners. These election commissioners actually are selected by majority. Majority means one of the members actually might have dissented among these, but this is the selection process. Now the major intention of the plea actually is that why the CGI was kept out despite Supreme Court adjudicating in that particular case that yes, CGI would be part of the collegium along with Prime Minister and Leader of Opposition. But the government actually that brought a bill into Parliament, changed CBI with the Union Cabinet Minister, and with this collegium only 2 election commissioners have been selected and appointed. So there are cases again that is appearing in the Supreme Court, although Supreme Court has refused to stay their appointments. So why they have? Because they said that bench however relied on the technical point that legislative enactments are normally stayed. The court adjourned the case to March 22. Supreme Court in its reply says that as we have separation of power doctrine is where the legislature, executive and judiciary do not interfere in each other's work, and as we know under articles of constitution the appointment of the election commissioner was solely in the hands of executive, although in the last case of 2023 when Supreme Court adjudicated it actually put CGI into this one, but Supreme Court says that we will not stay their appointment till now. At least this case is adjourned up to March 2022 and legislative enactments are not normally stayed. That is what the Supreme Court has said. Now what you should take care into this one and how you can relate to your answers is number 1, questions can arise like this: is making a judiciary part of the selection process of particularly election commissioner or UPSC or any other constitutional authorities important or is necessary or not? So you can then build your answer saying that in constitution, whenever our constitution makers actually sat and they decided about what should be the selection process, none of them desired that judiciary should be part of these kind of constitutional bodies appointment or selection processes. So bringing judiciary into it can then actually affect the separation of power doctrine and also can normally stay whatever the legislative business is. You can also give an argument that even under Article 124 the judiciary was not supposed to have an upper hand vis-a-vis the executive in the process of judges selection process, but in the second judge's case and the third judge's case Supreme Court actually took in own hand, and right now the selection process of judiciary happens through and only through primacy has been given to the CGI and its led collegium system. So you can then write that Yes, judiciary suggestions are welcome, but it is not necessary that judiciary actually either through a judicial activism or some sort of mechanism try to enter into these kind of selection process. There should, if there is any threat to particular selection process of something or some partiality has been done, it is the people at large who can deal with it, because ultimately the power lies into the people, because constitutional preamble gives power to the people and they are the sole authority of the power. So you can answer, or you can build your answer like that. Now we move on to the second topic, and the second topic is food inflation factor. So what is food inflation? Food inflation, as you know, inflation is impacting personal consumption and hurting growth. You see, inflation is, as we know, it can be asked in the general section 3. How? It will be asked that, growth in India has been hampered by inflation, explain. या फिर the question can be asked like this one, that latest consumption expenditure data has talked about consumption side of the food items reducing, how it can impact the RBI's calculation. So inflation is absolutely important, because it is inflation also which even enhances the allowances also given to the employees. So inflation actually always concerns personal consumption and economic growth. So the retail inflation data that is latest underscores the volatile food prices continue to hold hostage not only to the broader inflation but as a linchpin of the economic growth. How it is important, economic growth, why? You see, when there is a high inflation, although inflation up to a particular level is important, because if you don't keep inflation, then the prices or commodity level and the taxation system of the government and the revenue and receipt system of the government actually goes for a toss. Even the income levels and the nominal and gross domestic product also may not increase. But up to a certain point it is fine. But when inflation actually goes out of hand, then it can be a trouble, because then it starts eating into your consumption basket. It also weakens your own currency. The moment your currency is weakened, then the imports actually will start becoming costlier. Although export actually up to a certain potential will become competitive because of the reduced prices, but when the production itself and the pocket expenditure by the people in itself actually is lower, then you cannot expect the factories to keep on pumping money into production. So this is how the weakness happens into this. Even when inflation is a higher level, then the monetary authority, that is RBI, will make monetary policies shooting to particularly bring down the inflation. As you know, the inflation framework and the personal responsibility of RBI into controlling the inflation is that inflation should not go above 6% plus minus 2% of the 6% bracket. So it is highest importance for RBI to control inflation, and in controlling the inflation, if RBI even has to sacrifice growth, then it can sacrifice growth also, because then if inflation is higher, then monetary policy will become tighter and the liquidity in our economy will be even tougher to get. What is liquidity? Ease with which money can be achieved in an economy. So when the economy, when the bank rates are higher, when the interest rates are higher, then those who want to invest the capital in our country actually will be feeling the pinch, because the inflation rate induced interest rates are higher and an investor has to give higher interest rate onto the same amount of loan that he takes. So this is one of the best suggestions, that food inflation should be kept into a particularly low territory. So this is the news article. The government supply side measures. Now, what kind of measures government takes? Either supply side measures and demand side measures. As you know, inflation is supply side driven and demand side driven. In supply side, actually, whenever the commodities are less in number and when the demand is higher, then the prices also go up. And when even supply is important and supply is intact and the demand actually suddenly go up because of either rise in the income levels or some other purposes or shortage in the production, then also demand can increase and it can also fuel inflation. So government supply side measures including a 3-month old ban on export of onions has had little impact on cooling prices. You see that whenever there are high inflation in food items, then the government takes various steps like export control also. As you know, our agriculture commodities are also exported to various other countries, but government certain times actually even ban exports. Why? So that the demand in the supply side measures in the economy can be increased and the demand actually can be met, and the pricing pressure on the demand can then be reduced. RBI's Deputy Governor Michael Patra aptly summed up the risk to economy from persistently high food inflation in his statement to the Monetary Policy Committee last, when he said that private consumption, which accounts for 57%, what is private consumption? Which is happening through the pockets of the people. So 57% of GDP is languishing under the strain of still elevated food inflation. This is particularly telling in the rural areas, because these are the rural areas which have lesser income, plus also they have the lesser income levels plus high food expenditure. So that's why policymakers have now their task cut out if the economy is to avoid a summer of discontent, and the growth has to be at the highest level. Now we would be talking about why CAA protests are happening and are confined to Assam and Tripura. As you know, what is CAA? So this is the Citizenship Amendment Act. As we have gone through this particular topic in our earlier lectures, you can also watch these. Why I'm telling you? Because this time there is a talk about inner line system, the 6th schedule system. You see, an inner line regime, what is an inner line regime? An inner line permit system regime is operational in 4 northeastern states of India: Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram and Manipur. The inner line permit system is a special permit that residents of other parts of the country need to apply for and receive in order to enter and spend their duration in time of these states. So inner line system is this. 6th schedule is in Northeast. The 6th schedule of the Constitution provides special power to autonomous district councils in which states Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, which have jurisdiction over specific tribal majority areas with the objective of ensuring development and boosting self-governance by tribal communities in those pockets. Now how it is important. You see, with this 6th schedule and inner line permit system, you can even write that although I'm taking actually even GS2 paper, we know that we are a federal system. We know that we are a parliamentary system of governance. In parliamentary system of government, there is Prime Minister is the de facto head. In the federal system, there is a clear separation of power between center and states. But in our parliamentary system, we have also seen that there are unitary features, but states are also given actually, autonomy in their own aspects. States are given autonomy in number 1, state list subject, plus 6th schedule, 5th schedule areas, plus inner line system, etc. So whenever a question appears that in our federal system, although the constitution has been, federal, but there are certain unitary tendencies, the question can be asked that, with unitary features, even states have been given more autonomy. You can mention 6th schedule, inner line permit, state list into that particular also. So this content can be utilized into that affairs as well. Now, what is CAA? You must have known that Citizenship Amendment Act actually, brings to the table the citizenship benefits to 6 religions. In that, Hindu, Sikhs, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi and Christian migrants from 3 countries: Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. And what is the cutoff date? Cutoff date is 31st of December 2014. Means those who have entered India before 2014. If a person wants to come now and want to get the citizenship, he has to get it through the normal route, not through the CAA amendment procedure, Amendment Act of 2019 procedure. Why 31st of December 2014? Because of they wanted to cut off particular date before which they have come. So we are not asking people to come in flux, but we are only giving benefits to those who have resided here. Even CAA is not a manner in which actually we are trying to take away certain religious communities citizenship. So it is basically a medium to only give citizenship, not to take citizenship. Even CAA also has taken a geopolitical dimension, and as I mentioned, the United States spokesperson day for yesterday has commented on CAA and said that India should not discriminate on the basis of religion, etc. While government of India has again countered back the USA and said that this is an internal process of India and you should read before our culture and our whatever our humanitarian purpose that we are doing. So even you can use the geopolitical dimension in your CAA answer also, even inner line permit and sixth schedule. So why Assam and Tripura are against CAA? Because anti-immigrant sentiment is strong in Assam and Tripura. They share long and porous border with Bangladesh and have held a stream of refugees coming in from the neighboring country Bangladesh. There is no record of these migrations, either of the large scale ones around the times of great upheavals like India's independence, the creation of Bangladesh, nor any steady trickle that has continued since then. Although some of these refugees are Muslim, a majority are believed to be Bengali speaking Hindus. With the center now processing to delink the CAA from the NRC, many Assam feel that the CAA undermines their main ideological and electoral plank. That's why Assam and Tripura, because of anti-immigrant sentiment and because of their long and porous borders and because of the long stream of refugees, are now seeing actually more protest as compared to other territory of India. Now we move on to the another topic, that is why Gaganyaan matters and what its success will mean for Indian science. As you know, India is trying to get an upper hand in high technology, especially space. Space is the sector where India have leapfrogged by multiple bounds. It has not only launched a Mangalyaan, a moon mission, but its space sector is right now booming, and private sector entity into the space actually has even opened a space for the private sectors. Even we are now aspiring with the 10,000 crore rupees Gaganyaan mission, so that India can compute in high technology platforms also. As you know that India is also giving its contribution into the Large Hadron project and other neutrino project also. Why? Ultimately to bring actually high technology and make our science, technology, engineering people actually more engaged into our country's growth potential. You also know that developed countries have got developmental status because of their importance on technological status and contribution of technology on the development. So whenever you are writing about Gaganyaan mission or high technology mission, you can always mention these kind of topics. Technology is not only a quality growth driver, it also provides quality employment and high income levels to the people. Whenever there are high income level, then the growth effect of this also come and goes to the bottom state of the society. Their wages also improve. So you then become a high technology, high developmental indicator society. Whenever you are trying to follow a path of high technology, even you can utilize this particular technology in the defense sector, and defense sector Atmanirbharta or defense sector self-reliance that we are trying to achieve can also then become easier for us. So a successful mission by ISRO would be an ultimate destination or demonstration of our capability. If any of our agency actually show a greater amount of technological prowess, that not only our neighbors but other countries will also try to partner India into their own scheme of things. You must have seen that how UAE or Japan space agencies are now partnering with India. Even NASA is also planning to launch a Nisar missile with ISRO. So that's why this is important for our country. India earlier this month revealed the names of 4 Air Force officers selected for Gaganyaan mission. More than 600 people from different 50 countries have traveled to space till now. However, for a country to execute a space flight mission is still a novelty. Space program in the past have also resulted in hundreds of important spin-off technologies. Spin-off technologies means you develop a technology for something and then the technology actually helps you in other aspects. Regarding breakthrough intervention in health and medicines like MRI, magnetic resonance imaging technology, heart implants, and advanced water filtration. So that is why this is a particularly important sort of technologies that have come into picture. So these why, because you have implemented particular technologies into other sectors. So that's why I told you these technologies will also help in other related industries. Sustaining a human spaceflight program would also force the development of a science and technology ecosystem in our country. India has also suffered in the past because of the technology denial that it has dealt with. Technology denial because of you must have seen that how cryogenic technology was also denied to India. So India has suffered into that aspect. For example, in 1990s, US denied India cryogenic technology that was critical for powering rockets. It slowed down India's space program by almost 2 decades. After India conducted its nuclear test in 1998, even basic parts like certain kind of transistors and semiconductors were also denied. So even the manufacturing prowess in the semiconductor and electronics also necessary, because country will then not be beholden to other nations to give actually them the semiconductor or transistor type of things, and you can take, a country can take its own decision on its own basis without caring for other economic sanctions. So its sovereignty also gets further emboldened. At the time, several scientists had impressed upon the government the need for technology independence. In COVID-19 period, we have also seen that how a COVID vaccine actually helped India to not only help other countries but also become self-reliant and save its population. And you must have also seen that China actually, which is still struggled despite it having a zero COVID policy, and how India has prospered. India did not face any kind of prolonged economic downturn, and its economy is back on a path. So that's why these scientific technologies actually allow a country to not only grow but grow with higher and even secure their sovereignty to a particular facility. As I told you, India joined some of the biggest international scientific projects like Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory LIGO and Square Kilometer Array. You can mention these names whenever you are writing about a Gaganyaan mission, how that can be helpful. We now move on to the next topic, and that is SOF for Tesla. You see, SOF for Tesla and other companies like VinFast. VinFast is a Vietnamese based company that makes the electronic vehicles. It plans to invest around $2 billion in our country to set up a facility in Tamil Nadu for electronic vehicles. Even Tesla is also planning to not only launch its own vehicles but also invest a significant amount of capital in our country. And as you know, Tesla is one company that is not only an electronics company or electronic manufacturing company, but it is a mining company also. It actually deals with finances. So it mines its own material. It actually sets up every other industries also. So close to $15 billion, according to one government estimate, actually can come if Tesla starts manufacturing in our country. Initially, they are also supposed to contribute around $2 billion investment plus $3 billion by other industries, so close to $5 billion. So India, but their desire, Tesla's desire is that we should reduce the import duty. So first of all, till that time the manufacturing in India happens, India actually can Tesla can get the benefits and its cars does not become कॉस्टलियर. एज यू नो टेस्ला की कार जो है करीबन $38,000 का एक मॉडल 3 का प्राइस है. मॉडल 3 का प्राइस जो है $38,900 है. सो इफ यू पुट अ कस्टम ड्यूटी ऑन दिस वन, then the custom duty, if it is to be cut to 15%, then its cars will be costing around 45k. That earlier would have costed even higher than $55,000. So it would have made their cars uncompetitive in our country, because India actually is right now putting a lot of custom duty onto a particular vehicle which is being imported in our country. Why? Because India wants to contribute to our manufacturing potential. India wants to achieve that all those companies which want to trade into the country should contribute through manufacturing. So why this move will help India? Number one, it may attract all those electronic manufacturers in our country. Whenever these electronic manufacturers come and start manufacturing in our country, even our semiconductor dreams, our chip dreams, etc. also goes higher. You know, an electric car actually houses somewhere around 2000 chips, and if a single car actually houses 2000 chips, believe me, if we sell suppose say 1 crore cars of electric, then how much actually chips will be required, and from where these will be sourced? So these will be sourced from say country. So India, if start making even chips also, then not only you are selling electric vehicles, not only you are making electric vehicles, but also you are making chips, you are making semiconductors and other industries actually that centers around this one. So it becomes then a whole ecosystem. You must have seen that how Maruti's entry into a small car segment in our country fueled up the automobile sector, and where we are sitting in automobile industry today. So in electric industry can also be beneficial for not only growth of our economy, investment patterns, and bringing high quality jobs and high quality investment from these countries also. It can be from these countries, these companies, it can be beneficial in environmental benefits, where India not only reduces its reliance on fossil fuel industries, but also actually meets its climate goal either through Paris or other climate agreements, because electric vehicle also reduce the carbon emissions, and India can deal with the climate crisis also. So this is how this news is important. You can utilize this piece of news section anywhere. We are bringing newscast every day, selecting few of the topics, so that is why they can be relevant not only for gs1, gs2, gs3, gs4, but for essay writing, even in your optional subject also can be beneficial. Try to give us feedback, so that's why whatever you desire, we can also bring to you that particular topic or that particular novelty. If you feel that we are delivering a good cause, then please like and share our for more such videos. You can like the button and subscribe the channel. Thank you.